Hey everybody, I'm Todd and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and welcome to the Great Guitar Build Off 2023. Alright you guys, when we left off in the last Ceres video, I had my neck up to this point. We're shaped, I still need to carve my volute and my heel. I've still got to drill the tuners in, figure out whether or not I'm putting a cap on this headstock. Right now what it's time to do is to start on this body. And I've had second thoughts about that straight grain ash. I was planning on trying somewhat of a cerusing finish to where I filled the grain in that ash with black pearl, sanded all that back, leaving the black pearl in the grain, and then a linear purple fade. And I'm just not happy with how I think that's going to look with this purple fade. I'm not going to toss this body blank. It's a perfectly fine body blank and it's swamp ash. I love the back of it. This being the Great Guitar Build Off, I want to build something impressive. I still want to stick with the purple theme. I still want to do a linear fade. So I started thinking about tops first. And I said, well, I need it to be a white wood if I'm going purple. Or something that's going to take a purple stain. This is the top set that I originally intended to use on the Kuiper, which is the giveaway guitar I just made. And the reason I didn't is because it got wet, and you can see that stain right there. But check out that insane ripple. This is a 5A set of curly maple. It was in the value section on Kimball Hardwoods because of these burl pins right here. I love those. I think it breaks up the monotony and gives this wood some character. I bought this set for that reason. Anyway, I'm going to draw myself a pencil line down the face of this top on both sides, the sides that we want to joint. And I want this side up. We're going to take our crimson fret leveling beam. I've already jointed these. I ran them across the jointer because they were pretty far out. I got them kind of close, and then I got the shooting board out and I used a number 6 hand plane to get these nice and flat, but I still always sand the joint. And you can look at that and see my pencil line's gone. All right, there we go. So let's check our joint before we sand this side and find out exactly what's going on. Yeah. All right, so we sanded this side face up. I'm going to flip this side, which is the left side, face down. If that's off 90 a little, sanding one of these face up and one of these face down will help those cancel out each other, and you can have, you know, the same angle. And I can tell by how this feels, it is slightly off 90. I don't like taking too much material away because you'll screw your book match up if you're not careful. And I've switched to 220 grit at this point. Oh yeah, that is an invisible joint. All right, I'm going to clean everything up. We'll put our granite up on some bench cookies so we can get some clamps underneath the granite. All right, let's get this thing glued up. I'll use my finger to spread this. Let's run some tape down the seam. Now what we'll do is put a piece of wax paper across the top as well. we're going to glue up a new body blank. This is going to be it, you guys. I've planed everything down. It's been run through the drum sander. I didn't film that. You guys have seen all that before. So I've got my veneer pieces right here. I got 2 pieces of white poplar veneer. I got 2 pieces of dyed black poplar veneer. I've got pencil lines drawn right there so I know where to cut these. And that's a little oversized, which is what I want. Let me lay this down so you guys can check this out. I've got 2 pieces of sapele. This is mahogany. Surfaced that down, planed it on both sides, ran it through the drum sander, made sure everything was nice and flat. Down the middle, I've got this piece of wicked curly maple. I thought this was perfect. I like having something like that in the middle if I'm going to do a multi-laminate body. I've got 2 pieces of white veneer. They're going in between the mahogany and the sapele. I've got 2 pieces of black veneer. They're going between the maple and the mahogany. Let's prop this up right here. I'm going to sit this just like that vertically, and we'll glue everything up just as it goes. So let's get this thing glued up. Sorry about the fan noise, you guys. It was like 103 here today and humid. Yeah, I got squeeze out. All is well. I'm happy. We're about to take the top out of clamp. Then we'll get our body blank up here, take it out of clamp. I need to flatten the face that I want to glue the top to. I've got to flatten that up on the body. Let's get back to work on this thing. So let's just pop these clamps off first. What a stellar piece of wood this is. I can't say enough good things about Derek at Kimball Hardwoods. Not only has he been really kind to me, he has got some of the finest wood for guitar building that I have been able to find. KimballHardwoods.com. So there's our top. It's got that water stain on it, but I'm almost certain that'll sand out. Oh, I can tell just from that little bit of scraping, it's already starting to lighten that up right there, so we're going to be fine. All right, let's get this thing out of clamp. So there's our body blank, you guys. Sapele, mahogany, and curly maple. Oh yeah. All right, let's grab our hand plane. Nothing beats a good sharp hand plane, I'm telling you. Oh yeah. This thing cuts like butter. So let's turn it over and do the same thing to the other side. I got plenty of thickness on this body. Well, I know it's 100 degrees outside, you guys, but I'm still drinking coffee and still loving it. Delicious. We're perfect, you guys. I am really, really happy. All right, you guys, I'm back. I changed shirts. I was all sweaty and hot, and I figured I would give a shout out to Bonehead. Anyway, here's our body blank, and it's turned out so lovely, you guys. I love sapele for a body wood. The slight contrast between the mahogany and the sapele, you can tell a difference in those 2 woods for sure. And then the curly maple center. I've got some planer tear out on the front of this thing. we're going to take the random orbit sander and go over this thing a little bit with some 40 grit paper. Let's get on it. All right, you guys, let's get this side sanded too. Let's mark out a center line. I'm going to use the maple as the center. Take our ruler. Another cool thing about using maple as a center strip is you can see the pencil line. We'll need to copy this over to the side. Looks good. Looks good. All right, now that way we can see this when we glue the top on. Now, I'm going to grab our top and draw this out because I want to cut this top down to size first. It makes it so much easier to deal with when you're clamping it. Plus, I want to preserve these back belly pieces right here to make a cavity cover out of, or two. All right, so I'm going to hop over to the bandsaw and cut this shape out real quick. All right, you guys, I'm back. And even though I can see this center line, I'm going to draw it in here. I'll be drawing it up eventually anyway. All right, I'm going to pop a couple of alignment pin holes in here. I'm going to take a toothpick. We're going to take some super glue. Just need a little. Hit it with some activator. Clip it off longer than I know it needs to be. Same thing on this other end. Let's double check our fit. Make sure our center line's where it needs to be. It is. All right, it is time, you guys. So I'll be using the Appel wood glue for this. You guys know I like this glue because it dries 100% clear. Done. We left off the other night. I had glued this top onto the body blank. We're getting ready to take this thing out of clamp. So as you can see, it's just as I left it. There we go, you guys. One body blank glued up. That's my scale length line right there. Let's measure the distance that we need from the end of our truss rod adjustment nut to the end of our tenon is 15 millimeters. Have I shown you guys my new Lammy that my wife bought me? Man, I love this thing. Check out that clip. These are made in Germany. Very, very fine writing utensils. You guys, I have a major writing utensil fetish, as most of you know probably already. Gio gives me crap about it, but this is something else. I love this pencil. All right, there's our scale length. There's our neck pocket. We don't want to go any further this way or our 24th fret's not going to line up properly. Yeah, the Ceres cutaway goes deeper into the body, so we can actually move this a little forward if we wanted. All right, so that gained us another 1/8 that direction. I say 8, that's about 3.3 millimeters. There's our new scale length, which is, we're good. I just don't want my pickups eating up into that. There's our neck pocket drawn out. So you can see right there where I've got that drawn, I think. That insanely rippled curly maple's kind of getting in the way, but. So this is a fit-all template set up for a 25-inch scale, which is what we're doing. 24 fret version, so it crunches the pickups in a little bit more. Let's super glue and masking tape this template down and go ahead and get this neck pocket routed. No sense in me sitting here all day fiddling. Let's get it done. All right, you guys, so there we go. And we got a nice tight neck pocket. I love it. I'm gonna have to shave about 10 millimeters off the bottom of this heel. I want everything to be determined by how much bottom I leave under my neck pocket. I want that to be the determining factor. Considering I build the necks first, I always leave my heel thickness for a glue-in neck or a set neck. I always leave it at the full thickness of the board, which is usually 1.5 inches or about 45 millimeters thick, minus the fretboard. Then I sort that out after the fact based on what my body thickness is. That's just how I've gotten to the point that I do it, you know. You guys, there's 1,000 different ways to accomplish that feat. Let's pop that neck back down in here, and we can get a way more accurate scale length measurement at this point. Watch how tight this neck pocket is. I'll tap on the end of my headstock to make sure my tenon's seated up against the wall of my neck pocket. 635 is the measurement we're after. We'll go about 1 mil past that. Let's make ourselves a new scale length line. This is a trick I picked up from Geo, which he usually builds 25.5 inch scale guitars, which is 647.7 millimeters if I'm not mistaken. 648 millimeters is what most people use. Geo uses 650. That way he can be absolutely certain that all his intonation will need to be the saddles adjusting towards the nut. I think that's a pretty solid piece of advice. On a Floyd Rose, I'm not going that far. I'm only going to move 1 millimeter past the actual scale length. But there we go. There's our proper scale length line. All right, so we can't go any further than that. Our posts are going to be right here. I want to be slightly off that, so I've got a little bit of material left between our bridge recess and our pickup wall. We'll go about 6 millimeters. All right, so there's our bridge. And we'll come to right here and mark out this pickup. We're looking at about 6 millimeters beyond the end of our fretboard. That's about as close as I would want to get, knowing that I need room for my truss rod adjustment, you know. This would be easier if I used a headstock adjust truss rod. We would not have this issue, but I don't like a headstock adjust truss rod, especially on a Floyd Rose guitar. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is cut out the body shape first and route in where my bridge is going to go based on the scale length line, and then we'll maximize the placement on these pickups to make absolutely certain we can get this one as close to the bridge as we can get it and still maintain a little material in between the front of the bridge recess, and the back wall of the pickup mount, or the pickup cavity. And then on the neck pickup, we'll get it as close as we can to the edge of the fretboard and still have room to adjust our truss rod nut. That way maybe we can gain a little real estate in between these two pickups. Anyway, that's the plan. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I know this was pretty much a repeat of the last video I released for this guitar, but I couldn't let that straight grain ash go, you guys. This is the great guitar build off, and I need to build a great guitar. I'm not gonna be satisfied with anything less than that. What it was is a lapse of judgment on my part, thinking that ash was gonna turn out like I thought it was. This is where we are now. Obviously, I've got tons of cleanup to do on this thing, but I love the way this looks. I think it's gonna tie together better because we're gonna have curly maple up here will be the dominant if I don't put a cap on this headstock. If I do put a cap on this headstock, it'll be a piece that came from this body, and that way will be matched. I'll dye that purple too, just like we're doing the body. And I just think this is gonna look better. My center line ended up perfect where it meets up with the back of the body. I love that. I'm gonna carve all this down. Everything will be flow carved, and the heel and the body will have a seamless transition. I'm really happy. Everything's going really good so far, and I'm really glad that I decided to do this. While I do apologize for making pretty much the same video twice, I tried to be informative all the way through this video and let you guys know what my process was. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay up to date as I release all these videos coming for the Ceres. Gio and I have got a new collaboration we're talking about doing. That should be starting pretty soon. Gio's got some new builds he's planning on releasing on his channel as well, so you guys stay on the lookout for that. We're going to continue in the next video to just make progress on this guitar. By the end of the next video, where I'd like to be, I want to have the rear cavity cut for the spring cavity. I want to have my controls drilled in, my pickups routed, the Floyd Rose recess done and all that stuff taken care of, and I want to have the body shape cut out. That's going to get us to a point that we can glue this neck in. And by the end of the next video, that's where I want to be. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, peace and love.